Well, I'm not up to no damage, so.
Is it up to no good person? Up to Patric Cunnane.
Yeah.
Welcome to our show tonight, April Sayers, and I think the weather has proved to be in tune with the pun that was intended there, so damn. But anyway, we have a great show tonight. We have Patric Cunnane, who I think some of you have seen before. Fantastic mix of lyricism and music and witticism and sharp satire. Poets include Pauline Sewards, Richard Scott, Patric Cunnane. That's it. That's it. That's your lot. What do you expect for sixth grade?
A rich diet.
What?
A rich diet.
A rich diet, yes.
Sounds like a good mix.
It does, yeah. Let's give it a try. Anyway, I'm going to kick off the evening. I'm Patric Cunnane. Right, so this is a poem with a bit of spring in its step. It's called Lord Byron and Happy Valley. And Happy Valley is a place, woodland, near where I grew up. And I was there one day and it was very nice weather, and I was reading some Byron. So this is, I'll put Byron in this setting, see what he would get up to. Lord Byron and Happy Valley. Lord Byron picnics in Happy Valley, full of suds and vim. He bounds through the bluebell woodland, so quick on his feet you can barely see him go. Byron munches a cheese roll, alert to the possibility of gherkin, which he hates. Snaps the ring pull on a cream soda, dashes off an ode or two. For it is the dreaming time. April's loveliness has come, shyly knocking. Poets are aware that love is their calling, and Byron is no exception. Byron lays back, half gazes at the cerulean sky. It is the doing of a being almost as great as he, but one not so treasured by generations of schoolgirls writing in the margins. Byron beckons his love. Come, let's stride to the alehouse, quaff a draught in late afternoon. We will have none of that pie. It is truth we seek, not gravy. Thank you. I went to the exhibition at the British Museum about Pompeii this week, and it reminded me of this poem which I've written about the Roman games from the point of view of a lion. Eating Christians is no good for my digestion. Maybe it's the circumstances, the hot, dusty arena, the chanting crowds, the music. None of it conducive to a relaxing meal. Not that I get a chance to eat much Christian. They usually drag them away once I've snapped their stringy neck and they fall lifeless at my paws. The Romans expect a lot from us lions. Don't they realise we can't perform at the drop of a toga? A leisurely starter would be nice. Perhaps a couple of cheetah or leopard cubs or a wild dog pup. I'd rather be back in the savannah, feasting on antelope or gazelle, filling my mouth with their warm African blood. As far as I'm concerned, Italian cooking will never catch on. This is just a tiny poem called The Falling. I was in Mytilene, the capital of Lesbos, the island where Sappho lived, just before Christmas. And as we arrived, a storm broke out which didn't let up for 3 days, and the rain just fell and fell, and it was like the island was, or the town was flooded. But it was fantastically spectacular, and this little poem emerged out of the storm. The cleansing rain falls and falls and falls, a rush of joyous noise. The street is a river into which we step gingerly, clutching wine and candles and water. How I have longed for such simplicity, everything torn away, fallen, the apple uneaten. Thank you. We did a show in February to celebrate Chinese New Year, and I wrote this poem for that show. It's called The Darkest Stars, and it's about the fact that since 2009, more than 100 Tibetans have self-immolated, many of them young monks or nuns, and most died from their injuries in their protests against the Chinese occupation. Through these flames we seek freedom, our immolated flesh singeing dark as stars. Our voice is speaking, listeners recoil at this challenge to our rude imprisonment, the scorching of our precious soil, our exiled leaders' eloquent resistance. As the new year turns, spare a prayer for us, set it spinning on your wheel, understand our desperate plea, our reddening anger, our white-hot steel. It's the ghost of the Poetry Cafe. Do come in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
It's all right.
Hello.
Sorry. I'll just do those 4 poems again.
Dinner overran.
We've only just started. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so turning my attention to wine. This poem is called An Evening Drinking Californian Wine, and it's just thinking about anything we buy or use. So many other hands have been involved in getting it to where we're actually using it, so here it is. 9,000 miles from home, the bottle not yet dusty graces table, golden label, glowing elegance. Nothing to take for granted, many hands combined to fill our glasses. Hands that pick the grapes, licking fingers, running juice. Hands that fuel the furnace, blaze the sand that melted into glass. Hands that printed labels, pulled on levers, siphoned vats. Hands that drove the truck, that flew the plane. Hands that rung the till, that wheeled the bus. That took our wine and us home through London's infinitely reluctant sun. I was talking to my friend Lisa about James Bond movies, and she said if I was in a Bond film, I wouldn't be the Bond girl, I'd be Bond. So this is the girl who would be Bond. Cutting the blue world with a knife, you are Bond girl, become Bond. Emerging from the sea, glistening anger, spitting life. You clout silly Bond boy, stick his head in a bucket, brush away sand, stride toward land. You are the Bond girl who wrote her own stories on a shelf in a playroom, unafraid of high places, intuiting her feminist traces. You need no Chesterfields, shaken martinis, Rolex watches, Aston Martins, any kind of boy's own nonsense. You are Bond girl, become Bond, brilliantly unafraid, the girl who would be Bond, stepping out of his shade. Last poem I'm going to do in this first half is called Boat Trip with Radishes. I was in Amsterdam, I was on a pleasure boat, and this is based on an overheard conversation. I've never met a radish farmer before, said the woman on the pleasure boat to the man from East Anglia. She was from New Zealand, we were in Amsterdam. Radishes were on the conversation menu. It got me thinking, people even on pleasure boats don't talk nearly enough about radishes. Those pungent red orbs concealing piquant white flesh. The man from East Anglia slowly explained his trade. From time to time, he said, we all like to squeeze a root between our fingers, take a crisp bite of its bitter fruit. What he said was so right, it really put the pleasure into pleasure boat. Welcome, Lisa. Now, the next poet who's going to perform here tonight